Good morning, students. So today we'll see the magnetic declination, that is eighth definition. Sorry. Magnetic declination. Okay. So what is the magnetic declination? So it is very simple. So we have seen the two definition, that is true meridian and magnetic meridian. Okay. So depends upon this we have magnetic declination. So first we will see the definition. Okay. So just I will write the definition. The horizontal angle between the magnetic meridian and true meridian, okay, is known as magnetic declination. Magnetic declination. Magnetic declination. Okay. So we have earlier seen what is a true meridian. When a line which is passing through north geological pole and the south geological pole, correct? That is a true meridian. Okay, north geographical, south here we have pole, south geographical pole, correct? Now, but the magnetic meridian is nothing but the direction of magnetic needle. So this is one line is called as a, this is what the true meridian. But a line which shows the magnetic needle, this is direction. So that what we are called as a magnetic meridian, correct? So the horizontal angle between the magnetic meridian and the true meridian is known as magnetic declination. So this is what the theta, the angle between true meridian and the magnetic meridian is nothing but the magnetic declination. Is very important. Okay, so we have numerical based on the magnetic declination. So see carefully. So that is called as the magnetic declination. Now, so we have these two cases. Okay, one, suppose this magnetic declination, now it is tilted. So what towards the east side. So this is east and west. So now this magnetic meridian is east of true meridian. So that's why it is called as a declination east. Okay, declination east. So what? When the north end of the magnetic needle, okay, when the north end of the magnetic needle is pointed towards the east side, okay, of the true meridian, okay, the position is termed as a declination east. declination east. Okay, so this one. Now we'll see the next one, declination west. Okay, simple, same. So we have this true meridian, sorry, so I will draw here. We have true meridian, okay, and we have east, here west. Okay, this shows us north pole, and this shows the south pole. This shows the south pole. Okay, now so when the magnetic needle shows the direction, okay, suppose this magnetic needle is showing direction as north in this, along this direction. So this, now this what we have, magnetic meridian, because it's showing the magnetic needle direction north. Okay, so whatever this theta is there, so it is this magnetic meridian is tilted towards the west, so that's why it is called as a declination west. Okay, simple, you got this one, declination west. Okay, so this is about this magnetic declination. This is about the magnetic declination. Is clear to you? Okay, so we have two terms. So how we will refer this declination towards east, will refer theta e. Theta e, that means what, declination angle is theta and it is towards the east, magnetic meridian is towards the east, that's why theta e. Declination west is theta w, theta w, that is declination angle is tilted, magnetic meridian is tilted towards the west, that's why theta w. Okay, like this it will be noted. This is about the magnetic declination. Simple, the horizontal angle between the magnetic meridian and true meridian is known as magnetic declination. Okay, so simple. Okay, it is clear to you. Now we will see the next, that is isoconic and agonic lines. Isoconic and agonic lines. Isoconic and agonic lines, that is the ninth definition. Isoconic and agonic lines. So this is also very important. Always it will ask in MPSC exam or any competitive exams. Okay, what are the isoconic and agonic lines? We have four options. So it is simple. Based on this declination, we have isoconic and agonic lines. So first we see the definition of isoconic line. Simple, lines passing through points of equal declination are known as isogonic lines. Isogonic lines. It is clear. Now suppose okay, so just I have taken one map. Suppose this line, we have this line and this line having the same declination. Suppose 0 declination, 5 degree towards the west, okay, 3 degree towards the east, 5 degree towards the east, like this. So this line joining of same declination is called as a isogonic lines. Okay, now agonic lines means what? Very simple. Okay, the line passing through the points of 0 declination is said to be the agonic line. It's said to be agonic line. You see, here we have 0 declination, this line joining having 0 declination angle, that is the true meridian and magnetic meridians are same. Okay, we have 0 declination, that is what we call as a agonic lines. Remember, agonic means 0, isogonic means same. Agonic means 0, isogonic means same. Okay, now, so the Survey of India department has prepared a map of India in which the isogonic and agonics lines are there. Okay, so this guideline to be conduct compass survey in different parts of the country. Okay, so as per the compass survey, for when we are doing a survey, so this gives us guidelines. Okay, so this is about the isogonic and agonic lines. Okay, now the next definition. So next definition, so we have variation of magnetic declination. Magnetic declination. So first we should understand why this declination should be there. Okay, why this true meridian and the magnetic meridian is not coincident, because both are showing the north direction. See, the basic things between this one, we have geographical north and south pole. So if you see our earth, okay, is somewhat elliptical and which is rotating about itself and also about the sun. Okay, so it is like this. So this is suppose axis of rotation. Along this one we have earth, okay, and we have some lines. So suppose this one is 0 line, okay, and this is suppose north geographical pole, and this one is what? South geographical pole, and we have lines like this all, okay, and also we have the lines okay. So in the black lines, okay, and the line which is passing through the north and south declination and a point that is called as a true meridian. Okay, now this true meridian, you can see these are the parallel lines. These are parallel lines, but it is coincide with, okay, at the start and end it is joining, which is coincide, it is convergent into the one point, it is converting into the one point. So that's why we have a declination, we have a declination, because what if is, if we keep the magnetic needle or compass at this position, okay, what it will show, it will show this direction, it will show this direction. So what we have a declination. So this is now, suppose this is west, so this is, we have declination towards the west. Now you should see the compass, okay, here, okay, now it will show this north direction. Okay, now we have declination towards the east. Okay, so that's why we have a declination. Also, now what we are seeing, the variation of magnetic declination. So this variation of magnetic declination, now this angle is also depends upon the rotation of the earth. Okay, and also this earth is rotating about the sun, so that's why this magnetic declination is not a constant. Okay, so suppose it depends upon like that, I told you that axis of rotation and axis of the earth is rotating about itself and it is rotating about the sun. Okay, so it is not constant, so depending upon the variation of the that's why we have variation of the magnetic declination. So in that one we have 4 types. Okay, one is called as secular okay, variation. Secular variation, what is secular variation? The magnetic meridian behaves like a pendulum with respect to the true meridian. Okay, so what is that one? The magnetic, so I will write here, the magnetic meridian, okay, behaves like a pendulum with respect to the true meridian. It is correct. True meridian is like this, which are parallel lines which is passing through the journal. Now this line that is called as a magnetic meridian will change at each line. Suppose here also the angle will change, here also angle will change, here also angle will change. So that is what called as secular variation. Why? So after every 100 year or so, the swing from one direction to the opposite direction, hence the declination varies. The variation is known as a secular variation. Okay, so after 100 years we know, so here some the swings from one direction to the opposite direction. Okay, that is what the secular variation. Now the next one, annual. So this is very small angle. Okay, in the secular variation, what is annular? The magnetic declination varies due to the rotation of the earth with its incline in an elliptical path around the sun during the year. Okay, so why this annual variation will be there? When the magnetic declination okay, varies due to the rotation of the earth with its axis inclined. Now see, this axis of rotation is inclined. Okay, with incline in an elliptical path around the sun during the during a year, during a year. Okay, so that's why we have winter and summer. Okay, in the yearly 6 month, the sun will be in the northern hemisphere and the sun will be in the southern hemisphere. Okay, so that is what the annual variation. So that's why we have a variation is called as annual variation. The amount of annual variation is about 1 to 2 minutes. 1 to 2 minutes. This will be 1 to 2 minutes variation. Okay, now the next one, C. Now the next we'll see the C. The what is diurnal? Diurnal. Variation. Now here what? The magnetic declination varies due to the rotation of the earth on its own axis in 24 hours. The magnetic declination okay, varies due to the rotation of the earth on its own axis. Rotation of the earth on its own axis in 24 hours is called as a diurnal variation. Okay, the angle is about 3 to 12 minutes. 3 to 12 minutes. Okay, and the last one is irregular variation. The last one, irregular variation. So the magnetic declination is found to be very suddenly due to the some natural causes such as earthquake, volcanic eruption and so on. Okay, so this is what the magnetic declination is found to vary suddenly due to natural cause. So that is what the earthquake, volcanic eruption, all these things. Okay, that is called as a irregular variation. Okay, so you got, so we have 4: secular variation, annual variation, diurnal variation, irregular variation. So I told how these are the due to this concept. Okay, because earth is rotating about itself and it is also rotating about the sun. Okay, so that's why we have 4 types of variation. 4 types of variation. Okay, now so the next we'll see the 11th definition, that is what the dip of the magnetic needle. Dip of the magnetic needle. Dip of the magnetic needle. Okay, now so first, what is a dip? Okay, dip is nothing but the angle. Dip is nothing but the angle. Now See, I told in the magnetic meridian we have needle. Suppose this is a needle which is freely suspended over a pivot point, correct? And it is freely suspended. Now this is what needle, okay? This is what the needle which is freely suspended, okay? Now dip is nothing but when suppose this is a north and this is south pole, okay? When this needle having the angle, okay, okay, the suppose due to some magnetized substances, okay, when this north pole is dip, that means it shows the angle between this horizontal line, okay, and now our needle is like this. Our needle is dipped in downward direction and we have the angle is called as a dip, okay, it's called as a dip, okay. Now this needle is inclined towards the pole. Now what I will explain that one, okay. Now just now we have seen this is our earth and this is what the axis of rotation, okay. So this is north pole, this is south, okay. Now I'm having this inclination now 0 degree, that is what called as equator, that we called as a equator line, okay. Now so when we kept this compass at this equator lines, okay, this north and south needle will be exactly horizontal, when we have survey towards this area, suppose we have compass, we are doing compass and we are keep the compass here. So when in northern hemisphere, okay, it's called as northern, sorry, northern hemisphere, okay, and this we call as south, okay, southern hemisphere. Now so we are taking an example of this one, okay. So okay, now here what is happening, this needle is tilted towards the north pole, like this, okay. So that's why we have a dip, and the angle between this dip, the angle between this needle and the horizontal line is called as a dip, okay. Now in northern hemisphere, this north direction, the needle is showing the north direction, that will dip towards the north. In southern hemisphere, that means here, southern hemisphere, this angle, so now suppose this one is needle and we have point, so exactly horizontal. In southern hemisphere, the south end will dip south end, so this is south end, this is north end, so this is what the angle theta, okay. So what is, now we'll see if the needle is perfectly balanced before magnetization, it does not remain in a balanced position after it is magnetized, okay. So we have earth is magnetized, okay, because we have gravity, okay. So no, so this is due to the magnetic influence of the earth, okay. So whatever this one is, magnetic influence of the earth, the needle is found to be inclined towards the pole, okay, inclined towards the pole. The inclination of the needle with the horizontal is known as dip of the magnetic needle. Simple. The inclination of the needle with the horizontal the horizontal is known as magnetic or dip. Okay, is known as tip of the magnetic needle. Magnetic needle. See, this is what the magnetic needle. This one also what we have magnetic needle. Okay, the inclination of the needle with the horizontal. Now this one is a horizontal line. It's known as dip. Now this dip will be on different parts. In northern hemisphere, north pole will be dip, and in southern hemisphere, south pole will dip. That means it is found that on north end of the needle is deflected downwards, okay, in the northern hemisphere, okay, and its south end is deflected towards the downwards in the southern hemisphere, and the needle is horizontal at the equator. So needle is horizontal at the equator, that means exactly horizontal. Okay, the balance of the dip of the needle and a rider is provided along with it. The rider is placed over the needle in suitable position to make this horizontal. Okay, so when you see the compass surveying or surveyor compass, we have a rider, okay, to make this needle freely, all these things. Okay, so you got what is the dip of the needle. What is the dip of the needle? It is very simple. The inclination of the needle with the horizontal is known as dip. So we have two types of dip. One is a north dip and south dip. That means in northern hemisphere, the needle is downwards, deflected downwards. Okay, north end of the needle is deflected downwards in the northern hemispheres. Okay, and when the south end of this needle is deflected downwards in the southern hemisphere, and this dip is 0 at the equator. Okay, that means the needle is exactly horizontal. So that's why we have a dip of magnetic needle. Now we'll see the next, that is what? Local attraction. 12th. Local attraction. Local attraction is nothing but what we have when we have magnetic. Now this is about the magnetic meridian, which shows, that means a magnetic needle shows the north direction. Suppose we have any magnetic substances, okay, so suppose any steel which is attracted towards the magnetic pole, okay, so like this, so that time we have local attraction. Okay, some when we are doing a survey line, okay, if some electrical pole is near to this compass, so the magnetic needle will not show the exactly north direction. Okay, so we have some deflection angles. So that is what the local attraction. So is so what is local? The magnetic needle indicates the north direction when it is freely suspended or pivoted. When it is freely suspended and pivoted. But if the needle comes near some magnetic substances such as iron ore, steel structure, electrical cables, conveying current, etc., it is found to be deflected from its true direction. And does not show the actual north. So this disturbing influence of the magnetic substances is called as local attraction. Is called as a local attraction. Now, how to detect this local attraction? Okay, so we know forebearing and back bearing of a line. So, what is the difference between forebearing and back bearing? It is forebearing equals to 180 degree minus plus or minus back bearing. That means difference between forebearing and back bearing is 180. Difference between forebearing and back bearing is 180. Okay, that is what we have. Back bearing equals to forebearing plus or minus 180, like this, anything. Okay, so we are using plus sign when forebearing is less than 180. We are using minus sign when forebearing is more than 180. So we know how to manage this local attraction. Okay, so now we know the difference between forebearing and back bearing is 180. Okay, so whatever the error comes, if it is not 180, so whatever the error will come, that error will divide in between forebearing and back bearing. We will take one simple example. Suppose we have observed forebearing of line of AB equals to 60 degree 30 minutes, and the back bearing of AB is 240 degree 0 minutes. So as per this one, forebearing, so back bearing of AB equals to 60 degree 30 minutes. The angle is less than 180, so we will plus 180. So what we have, 240 degree 30 minutes. Okay, so what is the difference? Correction will be 30 degree, sorry, 30 minutes. Correction will be 30 minutes. This 30 minutes, what we'll do, we'll correct forebearing and back bearing with this one. That means what is the half of this one is 15 degree. So we'll minus in the forebearing 15 degree and we'll plus in the 240 degree. That means forebearing of AB equals to 60 degree 30 minutes minus 15 minutes equals to 60 degree 15 minutes, and the back bearing of AB equals to 240 degree plus 15. So what is 240 degree 15 minutes? Now the difference between these two will be exactly 180 degree. Correct? So like this, whatever the local attraction will be there, we'll observe this local attraction by using a forebearing and back bearing of a line, and will correct there itself. Okay, whatever the correction will be there, we'll divide this correction and equally will distribute into the forebearing and back bearing. Forebearing and back bearing. Okay, so like this. Now, so the next we will see the method of application of correction. Correct? The method of application of correction. One minute. Okay, so the last definition or term, method of application of correction. Okay, that means whatever the correction will be there, Okay, due to the local attraction or magnetic substances, the forebearing and backbearing, that means the magnetic needle is not showing exactly north direction, so we have errors. So how to accumulate that error? Okay, so we have two terms. First method. So what is the first method? So we know it is traversing. Okay, compass traversing. Suppose we have closed traverse. Like this, correct? So we can calculate A, B, C, D, E, because in traversing, what is the closed traverse? Starting point and ending point should be the same. Starting point started like this clockwise and it is ended at the A, correct? So that is called as a closed traverse. So what, how to check? Now we can calculate the interior angles. Okay, that is what, 2n minus 4 into the 90 degree to calculate the interior angles of any traverse. Okay, where n is a number of sides. N is a number of sides. Okay, the interior angles of the traverse are calculated from the observed bearings. Okay, so we know observed bearings are nothing but, suppose this is north, this 4 bearing we know, this 4 bearing we know, 4 bearing, this 4 bearing, all these things. Okay, we know. Okay, from this angle we can calculate the back bearing. Okay, so we can find out the interior angles. First we will calculate the interior angles as per the bearings that is observed in the ground. Okay, and then we have angular check is applied. The angular check is like this: the sum of interior angles should be equals to 2n minus 4. The summation of this internal angles, okay, as per the bearing, okay, and this it should be matched. If it is not matching, what should we have to do? If it is not so, the total error is equally distributed among all the angles of the traverse. All the angles of the traverse. Okay, so whatever the errors will be there, we have to distribute equally in the all the angles of the traverse. So where we have to start? Okay, so first you have to start with unaffected line. Start with the unaffected line. The bearings of all the lines may be corrected by using corrected interior angles. So this method is very tedious. This method is very tedious and not generally employed. Okay, not generally employed. Now the next is second method. So this method, so in the first method also, if there is open traverse, we cannot do this check, because in traversing, compass traversing, we have two types: open traverse and closed traverse. So in the open traverse, we cannot have the check as per this first method. So now we have second method. Now we have second method. Okay, now in second method, so in this method the interior angles not calculated. So here we are not calculating the interior angles from the given table. So we have a table. Suppose this AB line, will take AB, BC, CD, DE and EA. Okay, we know the forebearing and back bearing of these lines. Okay, so what we have a table. Okay, from this given table, the unaffected line is first detected. How will detect unaffected lines? The difference between forebearing and back bearing must be 180 degree. Okay, so where we have the exact difference, that is what the unaffected line. Okay, then commencing from the unaffected line, the bearings of other affected lines are corrected by finding the amount of correction at each station. Okay, so if you have to correct the bearing of each line by finding out the correction of the each station each station. So this is very easy method, and generally we adopt this one. Okay, now again one question arises. Suppose all the bearings, fore bearing and back bearing of all the lines is affected. So where you should start? Okay, so you should start with the less affected line. Okay, so this is about the method of application of correction, first method and second method. Okay, here we are calculating the interior angles as per the bearings, and we are we are checking with the formula 2n minus 4 into 19. Okay, so whatever the correction will be there, that correction we are equally dividing and applying the each bearing. In the second method, we are we are finding out first what is the unaffected lines. So from unaffected lines, whatever the corrections are there, we are doing that one for each bearings of a line, Okay, so this here we are not calculating the included angle, here we are calculating the included angle. Okay, so this is very tedious method, this is easy method. When we are solving the numericals, you will get to know. Okay, so we'll stop here. Okay, so we'll meet in the next lecture. Okay, have a nice day.